There are times when you stand up as a leader and you recognize the importance of the moment. Things hang in the balance on what is said, what is not said, how it is said, and what others interpret you said. It can never be enough. It can never recapture the past. It cannot heal the past. It cannot forget the past. And this is one of those moments. It's a moment that needs confession, a moment that needs transparency, a moment that needs grace and forgiveness, a moment that offers a next step toward healing. For the vast majority of you sharing in the Global Leadership Summit today, what I'm addressing may be something of which you're unaware, or if you are, it may not have impacted you personally. I ask for your indulgence and understanding as we share together in a family conversation, especially you who are part of the evangelical Christian community and who've been connected to the Global Leadership Summit for years. 20 weeks ago, the world around Willow shifted on its axis. The news media released an article regarding accusations and allegations of misconduct on the part of Bill Hybels, the founder of Willow Creek Community Church and the Willow Creek Association. The resulting controversy and maelstrom have produced tremendous turmoil for the summit and also for the Willow Creek family. When this controversy erupted, both organizations were impacted. And despite being two distinct organizations with separate boards, separate staffs, separate budgets, and unique missions, we've tried to support each other in the midst of this situation as best we could. It's been challenging at times. In early April, Bill Hybels resigned as pastor of the church and as the chair of the board of directors of the Willow Creek Association, the producers of the Global Leadership Summit. And since then, Bill's engagement with the summit and the Willow Creek Association has been completely severed. He's no longer involved, and there's no path for him to return. And there are no conversations about his future involvement. There is no map for the journey that we've been on. We've had missteps, mistakes, slip-ups, blunders. Not condemning Bill's actions to a greater degree and more publicly. Not showing more support to the women who courageously came forward with their concerns. Perpetuating a narrative of false allegations and collusions. We are sorry for the places where we could and should have done better. Scholar and lawyer Catherine McKinnon speaks of the current social environment that we're in as one where there's a disbelief and trivializing dehumanization of its victims. Where that has happened directly or indirectly, personally or corporately, I am sorry. We have purposely not tried to navigate this situation publicly. We've worked to be transparent with our host sites and with our Global Leadership Summit partners who've journeyed with us faithfully during these 20 weeks. Along with me, our team has spent hundreds of hours on the phone and in video conferences and through email, answering questions and inquiries and being as open and as transparent as possible. We've reached out to have open dialogue and conversation with those who've shared these concerns and their experiences. It's an effort that I've made personally and as recently as yesterday, and would hope that in the days ahead, the response and the requests extended to sit down and talk this through in a more honest and helpful way will be honored. We're still in the middle of a very difficult and demanding set of circumstances. The accusations and allegations need to be pursued in order to acknowledge wrongdoing, misconduct, and even abuse where applicable. As we look at this and moving forward, there are three commitments that we make. Commitment number one, pursuing an advisory leadership council that provides oversight for an independent investigation. I had hoped that we would have moved further in constituting this group, and we do have key evangelical leaders who are willing to step up and participate. But so as not to compromise their autonomy or authority or independence, we'll be providing more details about this group in the days ahead. We are committed to complete and continued transparency in the process and to extending grace and discovering truth. Commitment number 2, providing an environment that can be helpful in the dialogue regarding power dynamics, women and men in the marketplace and in the church, and how these dynamics impact gender equality, gender bias, and the glass ceiling. Leaders are learners, and we are learners just like you. And Danielle Strickland will courageously address this first in the coming presentation that she shares today during the summit. She'll identify how the relationships between women and men are eroding, marked by suspicion, confusion, pain, suffering, and a whole lot of ambiguity about what to do at this time. And we'll also provide a growth track coming out of the summit that will help go deeper and farther on the material that Danielle presents. And you can find that at globalleadership.org. And then commitment number 3, developing future opportunities for growth and learning, and being willing to address this topic head on, inviting you to join in these conversations. The Global Leadership Summit has a track record of dealing with the issues of the day head on. Whether it's HIV/AIDS, global poverty, racial reconciliation, or refugees, we'll invite those that are on the forefront of this movement of social change in order to assist in providing help and healing, and offering ways for businesses and churches and organizations to be proactive to power, gender, and inequality dynamics. We're committed to initiate and respond in facilitating spaces that equip and empower women in leadership and also help cultivate organizational change in all sectors in order to highly regard, respect, and honor all women. This journey does not conclude with this year's summit. It's just the beginning. Why have we chosen this pathway forward rather than stand on the sideline or take a pause? I believe the task of leadership is to step up, step out, engage, and equip, to inspire and to call out the best in others in order to make a difference for good and for God in our world. The future destiny of thousands of women around the world can be impacted through their learning experience at the Global Leadership Summit. Over these 2 days, more than 50%, 57% to be exact, of those attending the summit are women. Last year, more than 405,000 people attended the summit worldwide. This year's summit will be experienced at more than 725 sites in these 2 days in the United States and Canada, and then another 875 sites around the world beginning in October and translated into 60 languages. By sitting in your seat this year, yeah, we praise God for that, you bet. It is a movement and a working of God. By sitting in your seat this year, you help to make a difference globally, especially in the lives of women as it helps us expand the summit to 135 countries. We're in 23 of the 25 poorest countries in the world. And many of those countries marginalize, disregard, and dishonor women. And I hope you will join us in working to provide heartfelt compassion to the hurting, to those who are harassed and helpless and whom we know Jesus had a heart for, and also unconditional grace to all of us who have fallen and are broken. We all need to be voices of healing, repairers of the breach, givers of grace in raising the standards, in showing honor, and in speaking the truth in love. Thank you for walking with us, for growing together, and especially for praying for us. Thank you.